So I can sit at the table there.
Welcome to the Blanket Talk podcast. This is your host, Jonah Dempsey, and I'm here with my guest, Von Paul.
Good evening.
Hashtag Von Paul. So today we have a list of topics to talk about, and this is Blanket Talk. So I'm sitting here on a blanket, and we're going to talk about animal intelligence, bar culture, the life of trees, desire games, the 4th of July 50 years ago, alcohol, marijuana, masculinity, and dreams. We're here with our producers, Annika and Michael, who have helped compile the list. Now, Vaughn, you've been on this planet about 70 years, give or take.
Too fucking long.
What do you know about animal intelligence?
I know that they know what they want. They want water and food and materials for their nest and burrows. And they're driven to get that every day. And they rely on humans to help them, inadvertently or consciously. I've been giving cherry pops and cheese to a friendly anthill in the morning.
And how did the anthill respond?
Well, it was a little crazy because the big ants were devouring the cheese and the cherry pop, and this little ant came, half the size of the other ones, with a little short stick. It was like a blade of grass, just quarter, maybe an eighth of an inch long, hitting the bigger worker ants and tapping on the ground. And today he showed up and he had 2 sticks holding them. And he runs around and hits the ground and hits the bigger ants to hurry up because they don't work at night, they sleep, and they're unable to work in the rain.
He's a rouser ant. He rouses them.
I don't know. I guess he's too little to devour the cheese and carry it in. So his job is to make sure they're, on the ball. Let's get this cheese in the hole. And it's real serious.
Mm-hmm. And what other animals? Now, you've been here in Santa Fe, New Mexico, where we're recording from, in the courtyard of the El Rey Motel. And you've been here about 6 weeks. What other animals have you noticed here in Santa Fe, New Mexico?
Well, the doves are pretty dumb. They're not that bright. They don't do much. But I am giving water and grains to 2 little birds that show up. And there's some wooden planks on the ground, and they like to dance and hit their beaks on the ground to a little rhythm, which is pretty cool. And they're getting closer and closer and closer to me. Pretty soon they'll be eating off the table.
Well, on the other night, there was a bit of an incident with a wolf spider.
Oh, the wolf spider and the moth. Oh my God, it kept me up for hours. The moth kept trying to get out the window and banging in the screen and falling. And the wolf spider, he's as big as a quarter, maybe a little bigger. He was throwing his web, and finally the wolf spider won. And he was just fat and content and could hardly walk. And that was
the wolf spider ate the moth.
Of course. That's what wolf spiders do. And the moth, he just kept knocking himself out on the window screen. Maybe it was a 2-hour battle. Spider webs everywhere, blood and moth guts, and cries, screams of distress, and then the victory cry of the wolf spider. He finally got into the underbelly of the moth and sucked it into his body and replenished himself. It was wonderful.
What about, you ever see prairie dogs around here?
No, I haven't seen any prairie dogs. No.
They're a block away. They're a block east.
I've seen rabbits at night.
Oh, no, there's a field of prairie
I
dogs.
haven't seen any prairie dogs yet. No.
What about snakes?
I haven't seen any snakes. Human snakes.
Human snakes?
Yeah, women with red lipstick and cowboy hats and boots and expensive purses. You know, you gotta watch out for them.
How about beetles?
A lot of beetles.
A lot of beetles. We found 6 beetles today, just
Dead.
or crawling around on or trying to get off their back, and then you push them over and they fly off. They're flying beetles, which I'm not used to.
Huh.
Yeah, kind of a weird one.
In the morning, the birds' song is very nice. It's so quiet here. People don't get up till 9 o'clock this morning for them. Some people sleep till 10 or noon. I get up at 5 or 4:30 and I have to wait 2 hours for the coffee shops to open. I don't know why. It really sucks. They don't open till 7:30. The morning's almost gone.
Annika bets that Vaughn can make a good cup of coffee.
Yeah, use a sock. And you can use the sock over and over and over and over again.
How do you do it with a sock?
You just fill it up with coffee grinds and put it in a pot of boiling water.
Then what?
You wait a few minutes till you can smell the coffee, and then you pour it in your cup.
Huh. Cowboy coffee.
Well, probably way before cowboys.
Okay.
You know, Lewis and Clark weren't cowboys, but that's how they made coffee.
You told me Meriwether Lewis is one of your heroes.
Oh, yeah.
Why is that?
He's in Missouri, and he's got to find the Oregon coast. You know, I mean, geez. And there were no paths. And there were no, nobody was trimming the trees. It was a million years of timber and woods and rivers and mountains and Indians and bears. They made bull boats. You know what a bull boat is?
No, what's a bull boat?
They would kill buffaloes and gut them and then make a boat out of their skin with alder trees.
Huh.
To use big boats, and they'd use them to cross the rivers. But to actually get there, wow, that was quite a feat.
Mm-hmm.
They found the Oregon Trail on the Oregon coast, discovered the Northwest Passage.
So one of our topics, bar culture.
Bar culture?
Bar culture.
If you want to play, you got to pay, I guess. That's pretty much what it is.
Play what?
If you go to Cody, Wyoming, there's a sign over the bar that says, if you want to play, you got to pay. Bar culture is mostly, if you're sitting at the bar and your drink is finished, you got to buy another one or vacate the stool. Because the bar is trying to make money off you and your drunkenness.
Now, this was a topic introduced by Michael Steenbeck, one of our producers. I think it's, do you have anything you'd like to say about this, Michael? Bar culture. Why was this topic interesting?
Well, because we're having this podcast recording in a bar, so I thought it would be a good early topic before you start getting into some other stuff.
What about you, Pachika? Do you feel ill at ease by yourself in a bar ever? Or are you comfortable and happy? Just say yes.
Feeling pretty comfortable and happy.
Well, maybe that's because you're in a Santa Fe bar and people here are pretty welcoming.
Are we promoting Santa Fe?
Oh, it's just the truth. People here are pretty welcoming. I brought a friend here from Seattle, and we went into Sky Coffee. Johnny was working. Some of you might know Johnny. And the very first thing he said, I said, oh, my friend's visiting. And he said, oh, we're going to take really good care of you. We're going to take great care of you while you're here. And that's Santa Fe, with that exact accent.
Was that a bar?
No, that's a cafe. That's a Santa Fe. That's the Burqueño. Well, that's Burqueño. No, but Burqueño is, oh, how'd you land up here? Oh, I went to the crater and they wanted to charge me $20 to see it. I said, fuck no. That's my Santa Fe. Or I'm walking down the street and I'm wearing my blue shoes, and this was just yesterday, and the guy pulls up at the stop sign and goes, what are you wearing on your fucking feet, bro? That is Santa Fe. That's my Burqueño.
I dress like this, so I'm invisible.
Yeah, for the record, Vaughn is...
Describe your
Well, I can describe it. He's wearing a T-shirt that says "Homegrown," and it's kind of in a darker print. It's a lighter green and a dark green.
I traded it for a drawing today to
Yeah.
a cashier, like under the table. It was pretty cool at Second Venture or whatever it is. I know. Second
Double
time around-
Take?
Double Take.
Wait, you got something for free from Double Take? Double Take is
No,
tough.
I
No,
traded.
you-
Well, I know, but you traded a Double Take. That is props. Seriously, Double Take is
She
not.
got-
It's no
Yeah,
joke.
They don't do that.
They don't do that
Oh,
there.
you'd be surprised who does what.
You'd be surprised who does what. That is the
It's
record.
real easy.
For
man.
the- Yeah, that's okay.
She just didn't ring it up and put it in a bag and
Well, we
took the
won't
drive.
tell anyone.
No, that's called work. You know.
I'll do
That's-
it down.
Okay, the next topic: the life of trees.
We're not gonna tell anyone.
Oh.
I trade for pizza, haircuts, motel rooms, pot, you name it. I traded Brock Pierce for peyote dust. So, hell,
I traded Brock Pierce for. Tell us about that.
I traded David Harbour for a place to live for 5 months.
that's true. That's true.
Yeah, done a lot of trading.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay. Okay. Barter
In
life.
more advanced countries, America's kind of really not that advanced.
Mm.
The culture here it's Meow Wolf and Disneyland.
We're headed to Meow Wolf right now. We're late.
I
We're
know,
late to get to
yeah,
Meow
we
Wolf.
are.
I just found these.
Oh, cool. Let me see them.
I
Oh.
think I need to turn them in to the last I found.
What?
Baby shoes never worn.
Annika, no,
So
those are
cool.
worn. Annika just found some little size 2 sandals in the grass there.
Have you ever been a baby girl and your mother bought you shoes that you hated and you had to get rid of them somehow?
This is how you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just leave them in the yard.
So, should we throw them away?
No, put them on the table.
They're really cool.
Yeah, just put them on the table. All right. So the life of trees. What do you think about trees, Fawn?
Well, the root ball of a tree is 3 times the size of an untrimmed tree. And all trees from the sky are round, no matter how crooked and bent they are. And I have a feeling when God looks down at us from up in the sky, he sees this all is round, no matter how crooked and bent we are.
All right. How about desire games?
Is that like paying for sex, or what does that mean? Desire games.
Maybe our producer who contributed this can chime in. What's a desire game?
Soliciting people's desire or observing how desire moves about a room. I was going to say how desire anchors, but I thought that was weirder.
The Price is Right.
Sure.
Yeah. Huh. Desire. I don't know. I want every beautiful young girl I see, but, that's kind of absurd. That may be going a little too far, but I do. I'm sorry. I do. I can't shake it. I try. I feel guilty. I go to confession. But I still want every pretty girl I see.
What was 4th of July like 50 years ago?
Oh, you could blow up a car with plastic explosives in the middle of a field. I mean, there were no rules. We made our own fireworks. You could shoot your shotgun up in the air and then stand underneath, and all the pellets would fall on you like rain. You could do just about anything. Now they have all these rules. But they didn't used to be. You could actually shoot a shotgun in the air and then stand there. If you moved, you were a chicken.
Alcohol.
I like the way it makes me feel. Oh, here we go. We got new people.
Oh, yeah? And how does it make you feel?
I lose what little inhibitions I have.
What's up? Welcome.
Hi, Drew.
Hi, Vaughn. Paul.
I love the on air on the pizza box.
Well, we're recording. We're in. And welcome to our new guests / producers, depending what roles they have.
Thank you for the insta cred.
If you want to be on the show, though, you got to sit on the blanket. That's the only rule. Because the microphone doesn't go that far.
That's a new rule.
Well, the microphone doesn't go that far. I can't pass it over that way.
Well,
All right.
There's no money here, but we will validate parking.
I'm more interested in the parking
All right.
than the money.
All right.
Kind of a work trade thing. That's what I'm into these days.
You hereby are validated.
All right. So we've been talking to
Scooters included.
You don't drive a scooter.
Electric scooters.
You don't drive.
Spins. Birds.
Tell me you're not driving an electric scooter.
I got a couple, man. I got a little investment going on in Scottsdale, and
So you're trying to sell them, though, right?
yeah. Anyway,
So we've just been
I'll
talking.
do this for free.
We've just been talking to Von Paul. Now we're talking to Drew Linehan. I'm your host, Jonah Dempsey of Blanket Talk. We're at the El Rey.
Danae, right?
And
Someday
our
we'll talk.
topic,
What is this, denim? This is nice.
you know who it is.
Feels good.
I thought it was a bath mat.
Caroline Hurley. We're sitting on a Caroline. So this is Blanket Talk. We're on a Caroline Hurley blanket right now
Sweet.
at the El Rey in Santa Fe.
She the one that makes
good.
the T-shirts they sell at Ross?
No, that's
No.
Hurley
Well, her name is Hurley.
and Tony Hawk. It's
Tony
Hurley or Tony Hawk, I think.
He can't. He doesn't skate anymore.
No, I heard he
He
doesn't
quit
skate.
skating.
But he pulled the first 900 ever. This summer was the 20th year
Wow.
anniversary of the 900. How far we've come, you know. But think about like rotations and what that means to the world, you know, in terms of engineering.
We're spinning right
fracking,
now. We're rotating.
You
right now.
know, like in terms of actuations of a camera shutter.
What's
In
fracking?
terms, fracking is when you drill down and use water to build an oil well. So you drill down. Any type of drilling will use a circular motion to go into the earth and pull it all out. So Tony Hawk, you know, I mean, Sufis, I don't know. How do you feel about spinning? People spin.
We're
You know
spinning
about
right
spinning.
now
Yeah,
on
we're
a ball
spinning
of
right
mud.
now. I guess it's pretty natural to
We're
spin.
spinning through the universe.
You're right.
We're never in the same place twice.
That's
And you
true.
can't go back in time
One,
because the
Two.
Earth is moving.
Ooh, where are we now?
The Earth is moving. And
Here we are.
organic is a crock of shit. Because if you spray over here in half an hour, the Earth is there and still has the residue of the spray. So if you're spraying here, it's going everywhere. And it doesn't escape the universe.
Yeah, what happens when what's the consequence of the Earth moving through and orbiting around? Like, what happens over there?
You'd have to ask
Like,
the Earth about
do
that.
we go, like, does NASA or us ever explore, like, where the Earth actually came from? Like, because the Earth never passes through. It's not like we have a true,
It's wobbly.
yeah, it's going like this, right? And so, if we think about where the Earth passes, do we ever study, like, our own dust? What we leave off? Soviets?
I don't.
I mean, I don't
Do
either.
you? Does
No.
anyone here?
I don't think any of us study that.
No. You do that, actually?
No, I don't. I'm just thinking. I've never thought about
What-
it.
I have
I've
a
never
que-
thought about
I have a
it.
question for you. And please
Okay.
don't take it personally.
I
But what did
don't.
you do with the big piece of snot you had in your nose a few minutes ago?
I
watched you-
kind of put
Where
it on my
is it?
face.
On your face?
I rubbed it in a little bit.
You
yeah.
put some under your hat, too. I saw that.
Yeah, that's typically what I do.
So maybe that's what we
I
do.
try to reduce, reuse,
Maybe-
recycle. It's a part of going to public school in the 90s.
Maybe that's what we do with the earth and the dust.
Maybe. Or we just throw it all to shit. I don't know.
Huh.
Maybe we do. Maybe we just take the snot, make it into what I wouldn't. I'm sorry
You
I
had a
picked
big
my
ball.
nose.
It was shining in the light. It was like really big. But good
I
job.
am really a bad booger guy. I'm
Really?
not gonna lie. Yeah, bad booger.
You
That's
know,
my
the-
rap name.
German girl said to the German boy,
Yeah.
"Is that a diamond on your nose?" And the boy replied, "No, it's not." That's all I got.
All
That's
right.
it.
I like that
Hey.
they're German.
Marijuana.
Yes, please.
This is the topic of conversation. So I said, in the beginning,
What?
just to be clear, this is our
That you were
topic.
offering.
We're doing animal intelligence, bar culture, the life of trees, desire games, 4th of July 50 years ago, alcohol. We made it through all of those topics. Now we're on marijuana. What do you have to say?
We
What
love
about
you,
it?
Mary Jane. Who knows that one?
Mary Jane.
Oh, marijuana saved my life.
Really?
Yeah, it was so boring growing up with my parents and school teachers. My God. If it wasn't for marijuana, I probably would have killed myself. It was so boring, but marijuana made it more fun. Go to a pep rally. Yay, right? Yay. It saved my life.
Yeah, different generation. Weed's pretty boring, but I keep it around, smoke it occasionally. It's part
it
of our
used to be
sort of
really illegal, so that made
Yeah,
it
yeah.
really exciting.
super legal.
Like super illegal.
Yeah, I love looking at all those, all the old propaganda of the weed. The sex-crazed marijuana addicts.
I made a living selling marijuana for quite a while. Now you can't. If you have a grow
I had
room,
some gold mines in my time.
if you have a grow,
Shipping it to the East Coast, that's where I really did well.
there's
Drew
Living on the
Linehan,
West
ladies
Coast.
and gentlemen. Drew
Just
Linehan.
like, I'd show up at the FedEx place, just like, here. They'd be like, anything to declare? Just like, just a postcard, sir. Put in the mail. 3 weeks later, $3,000. When you're a college
Whoa.
kid, $3,000 is a big deal.
That's still a big deal.
yeah, it's
That's a
still
really big deal.
Who says that's still a big deal? Raise your hand.
Everyone, well,
Actually,
most of
yeah,
us
I
raised
wish
our
I had
hands.
$3,000.
All but one of us raised our
It's
hands.
still-
Snacky box.
Okay, we've all raised our hands.
Some other visual things while we're at it.
A brand new car.
All right. Masculinity.
Got enough of it.
Yeah? Had enough? Had enough for a lifetime?
We're done.
Masculinity.
How do you say? Do you say womanlinity?
Femininity.
Femininity. Okay.
How do we move between a
Woman and
masculine, feminine world, though, Like, we're just so into those ideas, their Greek origins and all that shit. And, like, how do we... Because all of that shit existed in, like, the Western Greek-Roman culture. All the queer stuff, But it was never, like, really... Well, there are characters in the mythology that are about those, but the domineering, ones we listen to are the masculinity, femininity. Lesbos is its own, like, crazy thing.
Well, that's just,
And then all the dudes are just like, Dionysus, I don't know. Fuck this question. Masculinity.
Okay, fine. Okay, fair enough. Fuck this
Masculine.
question. But isn't fucking a question a masculine act?
fucking a question.
Okay.
Well, things have changed.
Dreams.
Bad Bunny,
Oh, yeah,
Dreams.
dreams. You gotta be
Dreams.
real careful talking about it.
Why do you have to be so careful talking about
She already
dreams?
walked away.
Who came up with the talking points?
All of us that were here. It was a community effort.
Just wondering. No judgment.
It was
Why is it only me and Von Paul?
because you're on the blanket, so
Can you even like pick it up over here?
you're invited. No, we can't pick up anything. We can't hear anything you're saying. You got to come to the blanket if you want to join. Yeah.
Can
so
I just
we-
interview Von Paul?
Yes.
That would be better.
do it? Okay, we'll do it, please.
All right.
Drew Linehan interviewing Von Paul.
This is what I've wanted.
You are
to do.
listening to Blanket Talk.
Von Paul, you've lived through what I think is the golden age of sort of our American Western identity. Do you think it's just over at this point? When you hear about everything that's happening, you've lived through Vietnam, you were born at the very end of World War II. You have witnessed numerous countercultures that have been the spawn of like all of these different things that never really transpired into movements per se, but just became these like floating ideas in like the Western ethos. Is the world ending or not?
Is the world what?
Is the world ending or not?
That was a curveball.
Ignorant?
Is the world ending or not?
No, the world isn't ending.
No?
No, it's actually, we're in about the first, like, just the tip of Kali Yuga right now. The world has 4 seasons, just like spring, summer, winter, fall. And we're going into the winter, the dark period. And the start of it, it's described that men will become like women and women will become like men. And it gets really dark. The end of Kali Yuga, men will be 2 feet tall and eating each other. And then there's a period of 640,000 years. And then it comes into the golden age, where it only rains 1 hour a night. There's kalpa-vriksha trees, where if you want a new pair of sneakers, you just imagine it, pick them off the tree. The oceans are full of honey and nectar. The men are 10 feet tall.
I thought you said they were 2 feet short.
That's the end of Kali Yuga.
Okay.
And then there's 640,000 years of desolation. And then when Satya Yuga comes out, the golden age, the spring, men are 10 feet tall and cannot speak, and they can never lie.
So for the listeners that don't know what Kali Yuga is, what is that ideology, religion, culture? Where does that come from?
If you have to ask, what can I say? It's like the price of a brand new car or a house. If you got to ask,
Why are these years so specific?
oh, spring, summer, winter, fall.
But you said like 64,000 years.
640,000 years.
600.
See, you're approaching it intellectually.
No, I'm asking. I'm
It can't
trying
be
to get the
described.
details.
It can't be described intellectually. Has to be accepted.
Okay. If I accept it,
It's like snow. It comes and it goes. We don't argue with it or fight it or try to stop it. We accept it.
I'm not arguing it. I'm just trying to understand it and to understand where this belief comes from.
You asked me if the world was ending.
Yeah.
No.
It will go on.
No, it's the first words recorded. That was 210 million years ago.
The first words recorded?
Yeah.
What were those first words?
Om.
Cool.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. It's pronounced A-U-M. And the best way to say it is silently. He's asking me if the world's going to end. Maybe your world's going to end. Depends on what your world is. If your world is built around your job and video games and beer and bars and pussy, yeah, that's going to end.
We're back on bar culture, I see. That was an earlier topic.
That's going to end. So
I'm really optimistic because my world isn't that.
I don't know, I almost died last week. And I was laying there, I was sitting with my heart attack, and I contemplated for a half an hour whether I should call 911 or die. It took me a half an hour. And they revived me. This is where they shot morphine and nitro into my stomach. And I'm still not sure if it was worth it. Like, pretty much the world hasn't changed. My perception has changed. I'm trying to be nicer, but the world's pretty much, honestly, I still haven't decided whether or not it was worth it.
But do you think the world you came into is a better place than when you'll leave it? Because that's a lot of people rest on that type of doctrine, you know.
Huh.
I don't rest on that doctrine, but there are a lot of people in the Western world that think they left the world a
They
better
think
place.
that the world isn't, but
And so I'm
you
wondering
don't get
if you
anything out of it.
do you think that in terms of your own life, the
Like-
way you see it? Like, were you laying there thinking about, okay, I could die right now, or I could call 911? Did it go through your mind like, well, I could continue to make the world
No,
a better place?
not at all. I was thinking about me. And is it going to be better for me? That's all I was thinking about. I'm sorry, but that's the truth. You know, I come first.
No, that's what I like to hear.
Yeah, I was thinking about me. Is it going to be different, more exciting, more thrilling, more rewarding? And and it's really hard when you're dying, and you've got this bitch nurse standing over there demanding to know what your level of pain is, and you have to give her a number. Yeah, and I wanted to pray, so I kicked them all out of the room, and I prayed for about 10 minutes, and this weird, mean nurse, she said, well, come back when you're willing to cooperate. You got to give them a number. I mean, I couldn't breathe. I'm dizzy. It's hard to see. Between 1 and 10. I mean, what? I got really mad. Oh, what? I'm dying, bitch. I mean, what?
You can't say that word.
I
Bob.
did.
Okay.
What did you pray about after you said, I'm
That they
dying,
just-
bitch? What did you pray about?
That they just knock me out with something and fix me and stop asking me really stupid questions. It was level of pain. They even had a chart on the wall with smiley faces. And the 10 where he was all frowning and had a crooked mouth and she's pointing to the, I'm like, where am I?
In your ideal world, or any type of like ideal world, how is pain registered?
Oh, pains.
But how do we articulate it? Like how like not a Western nurse, not like a doctor, not this sterilized environment, but like if you're sitting there having a heart attack with one of your best friends, how do you articulate pain without the chart?
Oh, it doesn't hurt at all. It's
No?
just hard to breathe.
A
And it's
heart
hard to see. Yeah, it doesn't hurt at all. That's bullshit. Doesn't hurt at all. I've had like 3. There's no pain. But you got to give them a level of pain number. They're not going to give you morphine. And the morphine slows down your heart rate and helps you out. The thing that kills most people in a heart attack is the fear of dying. And then panic sets in. And then it gets really weird. But if you're falling off a cliff and you can't see and banging on the rocks and the trees, it's actually kind of exciting. You remember, Jonah? I called you in the middle of the night from a hospital. I said, bring me a pair of pants and a pair of clean socks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
This was last year. Vaughn was camping, and a couple days before, someone said, you should use a flashlight. And Vaughn said, flashlight's a bust.
Yeah.
And then 2 days later, he slipped about 15 or 20 feet down a ravine. And I get a call in the middle of the night, and you had to get a bunch of stitches because he was basically bleeding out and then somehow crawled up the ravine, hiked for 2 miles
No, just a mile.
with his blood filling up his boots, got to a mini mart, and then was so excited to tell me that he got a free bottle of water at a mini mart. Because
Yeah,
you ever got
gas
anything
station
for free?
Mini Mart.
You ever got
They didn't
anything for free
charge
from a
me.
mini mart
That's
ever?
true. That never
There you
happened.
go. Nobody gives you. But yeah, so. No, so I went to the middle of the night. I brought him some new pants, and
But that was exciting. The pitch black, I couldn't see my hand. It just was initial shock when I'm falling, and it happens real fast. You don't, when you're falling, it's not a long time. But that was the most fun I've had in quite a while.
Where was that?
In Seattle. I was getting high with Jackie. That was the.
oh, that's what led to it?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Okay, well.
She's so sweet.
Wow.
Oh, sure.
So
Any-
that's why you
anybody
fell.
just take it.
That's why you were intoxicated.
Well, I don't mean to quiz you about your near-death experiences, but
You asked me if the world was
I've
ending.
been talking to a lot of people in the last hour about playing with death and
Playing
like
with it?
why like
Oh,
people
I
wanting
drew death.
people wanting to kill themselves and
Yeah.
and like why would you do that? And I think it's a really interesting thing that people like want to die and that we don't have like a transparent culture
Yeah.
about the idea of dying
I was gonna.
and being like cool
Yeah.
with that. Like, yo, like let's talk. If you really want to fucking do that, man, I really love you. But if that's what
Well,
you
you just
need,
called-
if that's what you want,
You just 520 him, or 550 him.
What's that?
what's that?
The cops will show up and lock him up for 2 weeks observation. It's a crime to say you want to kill yourself.
Exactly.
And
But
you're
I think
550.
that's part of, like, we don't have, like, an actual dialogue about what death is. Like, a visceral conversation. Because it leads to incarceration.
I almost
leads-
killed myself just 2 months ago in LA. I had a arthritic attack and I couldn't walk. And could not walk for maybe 4 days, and I was going to shoot myself. And I told Shalavi, the painter I was hanging with, and so I was going to go get a gun and crawl off into the wetlands and shoot myself, and the coyotes would eat me. And she's French, and she said, Juan Paul, you can't walk. How are you going to get to the wetlands? Nobody's going to give you a ride. No one's going to give you a ride to buy a shotgun. You're kind of just stuck here, so just shut the fuck up and draw.
Oh, so you didn't even have the gun yet?
No. And I couldn't walk. She laughed so hard. She was just laughing at me and throwing cookies at me.
I'm sure that gave you a reason to live.
Yeah, rolling spliffs and throwing cookies at me.
Oh, that sounds lovely. A French person
She's
throwing
so sweet.
cookies.
No matter what you say to her, she'll just go, I don't get it. She won't get it, can't get a joke. And everything is, well, yeah. Oh, she's so mean. But she came to this country. She's been here 13 years. She couldn't speak English. And she learned
So she just painted.
learned English, went to computer graphics school, started painting. Now she makes $1,000 a day doing corporate art. Paints murals, $1,000 cash and lunch, hotel and plane fare.
Beautiful. Zuckerberg must love it.
Mhm.
All right, so art's dead, basically. People, yeah, okay.
Next topic.
Let's think about other things.
Anyway, if you
Painting. Let's talk about painting. How's everyone feeling about painting these days? What's your favorite painter? This person?
huh? Painting?
Anyone can chime in.
Um,
Painters. Any
I had a
painters?
question about that.
Who's compelled? Who's compelled by a
Let's see.
painter?
I like my dad's work, John Dempsey,
mhm.
but he's my dad. But I like his
Landscape,
paintings.
abstract.
It's abstract.
What's going on?
Painting is called unconscious mental activity.
It is?
Yes. And when you're painting, you don't even know what the finished product is or what you're painting. And if you want to piss off a painter, ask him what it means. Ask him what his painting means. He will, people try to figure it out intellectually.
He.
Yeah. But the act of when your brush is on the canvas or your pen is on the paper or you're singing a song, everything disappears and we can extend time. Time does not exist because there is no time. When
It
you're
is-
writing, your time is extended. So painting, it's if you have alphabet diseases, I highly recommend painting.
I used to paint as a child, but I don't now.
you want to contribute?
Oh no.
You just did. You started the ball. Come on.
No, there's this painting I painted as a child that I remember distinctly.
This is Samantha Platero joining in from the audience. Oh.
No, but it is.
That time gap, because when you do write or edit or
There is no
paint
time.
in like you can say it can take you 5 years to find the one thing that you say in a split second with that or like at whatever the medium is. And that is, for me, a way that I've been able to like keep doing art, because you trick yourself into thinking that it takes like a time commitment.
I do.
And no, one like me thinks that you have to be like committed to doing this thing or pursuing this art form and like the mastery of it and blah blah blah. And then you can just do these things that are just very, very fucking satisfying. And they can take 5 seconds to do. And it doesn't have to be like we have this idea that like art is like a practice that we had to study with a master in order to do it,
The discipline helps.
But you meet people everywhere that are masters of everything or masters of nothing at the same time,
If you really want
To be a master, do you have 30 years to be considered a master?
No, 10,000 hours.
Yeah, but
But that's like 30.
Bullshit. I did that in
Don't you
less than
think
4
you're always
years.
Preparing for
I
it
did
though,
that in
Drew.
4 years. I used to start drawing at 5 in the morning. At night, I had a spotlight on my head, and I would draw. And I drew 8,000 mandalas in 4 years, and it was 10,000 hours. So
Yeah, but I guess like that's kind of.
I was insane. I was
If
crazy.
you were
an
like
extreme
doing
case.
that, yeah,
Like
exactly.
most people, like if you're just like
Yeah.
kind of painting sometimes, it's
Yeah.
gonna take you like 30 fucking
Yeah.
years.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you like are in grad school for 5 years, you're gonna get 10,000 hours in no matter what the fuck the thing is.
This is Derek, ladies and gentlemen. What's your last name?
DeSantis.
I'm
DeSantis.
Now I'm out of paper and pens.
I'll
And
use some paper.
you don't have the right paper. I'm sorry.
But Vaughn does need a ride to get it. He knows where to
No,
get
I'm
it.
gonna walk tomorrow.
Okay, well, he doesn't need a ride. But if somebody wanted to offer him a ride,
Artisan?
Yeah, you gotta walk. I mean, it's like in small towns. It's always like that. Hawaii, it's really hard to get paper. God, it's that's why I like
It's just
LA
trash that comes with your drink.
because I can get paper.
Throw away for fun.
And pizza. There's no real pizza in Santa
Paper and
Fe
pizza.
Yeah, it's where
Yeah,
I'm
there's
trying to get our
definitely
friend
no
Sarah to-
pizza.
There's
what?
no
Wait,
real
what's going on
pizza.
here? Okay, wait a
There's
minute.
definitely no pizza.
Have you even had a decent? I had a slice in the Vargas Center, and it was like a baking soda crust, and they put like jalapenos out of a can on it. Oh, it's horrible.
Yeah.
Sarah's gonna
That
open up
pizza's
her
trash.
pizza place soon.
Which one is Sarah? Is that
The one you like.
The one you like forced.
Which one he likes?
The one you met at my
The one you
at
want
my
to like.
house. Remember
Yeah.
the one with the hat?
The liquids?
The one that invited me to a barbecue, but
Oh yeah, she said, I'm gonna have a barbecue tomorrow. And Vaughn said, I don't believe that. What's the barbecue? What are you cooking? She says, oh, a little this or that. And Vaughn goes, you're not having a barbecue. She says, well, maybe.
She's got so much fucking trout.
Ooh,
she's
let's.
got trout.
Yeah, she had a
She did.
cache of trout when I was
Dang.
over there, and I slow roasted those.
Oh,
Those-
you're speaking Vaughn's language right now.
It was
Everyone,
good.
everyone has their love language. Vaughn's is
Little
food.
lemon, little pepper.
Vaughn's is
Little
food.
salt.
That is
A lot
Vaughn's.
of salt, actually.
Well,
I
Bad
packed
for his
those.
blood pressure, but he loves it.
a sandwich. I'd rather have a sandwich than sex because after I'm done with the sandwich, I don't have to talk to it.
Oh.
Some like George Costanza shit right here.
Yeah. It's his love language. Vaughn's love language.
Back to masculinity.
Yeah, now we're going to talk more about masculinity. So what is your love language? Okay. No. Well,
I
I
don't
think...
have to buy the sandwich a pair of shoes.
Okay. Enough of that. Okay.
No.
So hold your horses. I think we got to wrap up. thanks for joining. I think at this point it's safe to say Drew is the co-host. So thank you to my co-host.
What? No, I'm not a.
Well, my guest
I just
interviewer.
I just hopped in.
Yeah,
I
that's
like
good.
asking questions.
Can we broadcast this in Iceland?
Oh, it's going to be on the internet. It'll
I'd
be
like
everywhere.
it to be in Portugal, personally.
It'll be.
Portugal?
I mean, it's the
Yeah,
internet.
why not?
How many electric cars per capita are there in Portugal?
Who gives a fuck? How about how many dope motorcycles are in Portugal?
What do you have to say?
Is the topic now electric cars?
No, the topic is that this has been. Thank you all for being on, and This has been Blanket Talk. For those listening at home, we've mostly been sitting on blankets. Right now, Drew is the only one on the blanket.
Sorry to
Vaughn's-
take up all the space.
No, it's great. It's a Caroline Hurley blanket. So thank you, Caroline Hurley.
Thank you,
And,
Carolina Hurley.
Carolina Hurley, and
And the impetus for me was a really good drink.
yeah, and the
And
we
your
found-
sour dessert was me.
and Annika found some kids'
Isn't it
shoes.
so funny? Like
I
the agency associated with like something being recorded. You know,
Yeah.
what is up with those sandals?
Well, you have to listen back to the first half of the show, and all the answers will be revealed.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'm gonna take Vaughn to his very first. Wait, before we finish, what's your hot take on Meow Wolf?
It's Disneyland for fat tourists from Texas.
All right, you heard it here first. Disneyland for fat tourists from Texas.
I will corroborate that.
Okay.
Yes.
We are now about to take Vaughn for his first experience.
Why?
in,
What?
We
Why?
got
are
free
you-
tickets. We got free tickets. Yeah.
Great.
Maybe we'll bring the blanket.
Lovely,
We'll do a
lovely.
blanket talk episode from Meow Wolf. We'll see.
Nothing.
So, all right. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Woo! All right, Rod, Drew, everyone, and we're out.